The Jedi Grandmasters always achieved their rank for a very specific reason, usually due to a life of selfless devotion to the Jedi Order, sacrificing everything for the betterment of the galaxy, and still having the strength to survive from it. While many Jedi Grandmasters attain the title for various reasons, many of them seem to share remarkable qualities, and have rather amazing backstories to boot, one of which is Satele Shan, the Jedi Grandmaster during the Great Galactic War that happened in circa 3681 BBY. Satele Shan led a life of excitement, peril, and strive through grit and ash to save the Jedi Order from the brink of destruction. All of it ultimately paid off, as she managed to win the Galactic War for the Jedi after fighting in two fronts, one against the Sith Empire, and the other against the newly arisen Eternal Empire. So, welcome, curious acolytes of the galaxy, to today's Holocron, where we will be discussing the life and extreme powers of one of the greatest Jedi Grandmasters to ever grace the Order, Jedi Grandmaster Satele Shan. And by the end, you will realize that Satele is way more powerful than you ever had before. For this Holocron, we will be doing our best to keep the details of her life summarized, but comprehensive. We'll do our best to cover the most important aspects of her life, but if we leave out any details, it is mostly for the purpose of brevity, so without further ado, acolytes, let us begin. Satele Shan is the direct descendant of Revan and Bastila, having been pretty much born in the life of a Jedi by her mother, who was soon after exiled due to her opinions on the Force. Satele would be assigned to Master Nagani Zo, who would train her from youngling to Padawan. Soon after, she would be sent off to continue her training under a different Jedi Master in the Outer Rim, specifically the Republic space station orbiting the Sith homeworld of Korriban. There, she would study under the Order's Zabrak Battlemaster Chaos Sendarach, who trained her exceptionally well in the art of combat, of course being the Battlemaster, denoting him as one of the finest duelists of the Order. Due to her exceptional lineage, Satele was already very strong naturally in the Force, and having her abilities cultivated in an active environment would later prove to be quite beneficial. A controversial choice, Satele Shan would choose to wield a blue saber staff during this time period, and became deadly proficient with it. Her skills, though, would soon be put to the ultimate test in a trial by fire, when the Sith Empire made a sudden and grand return by way of a surprise attack on the orbiting Republic fleet over Korriban, landing on the space station with the Sith Inquisitor Darth Vindicant and his apprentice Darth Malgus. History repeated itself yet again as the Jedi and Sith Masters and apprentices clashed blades in a fearsome duel. Though despite all of her training, Satele Shan was unable to keep up with the Sith, specifically Malgus. Darach knew that Korriban was lost, and he also knew that only he or his apprentice would make it out alive. Sacrificing himself, Darach sent Satele away and threw all he had into his final stand, managing to mortally wound Darth Vindicant and ultimately being slain by Malgus. Upon her return, Satele debriefed the Jedi Council about the attack, but by then it was far too late, and the Republic was plunged into an all-out war with the Sith returned Empire. Satele would be assigned to her third master, a Togruta named Darnala, who guided her into knighthood. Jedi Master Darnala would have her work cut out for her, as Satele Shan was headstrong and was full of impulsiveness, similar to that of Bastila as well as Revan. However, through her training and of patience and diplomacy, she soon became a valiant Jedi Knight. It would be a few years later that the master and apprentice duo would begin investigating rumors on the world of Alderaan, though when they arrived, they would discover that the Sith were once again 2 steps ahead of the Jedi and the Republic, and the royal city of Alderaan was burned to the ground. In response, a Republic strike team engaged the Sith forces in an ambush. Although it did manage to catch the Sith off guard, it was not enough to conquer them. The Republic troopers would have all died out, if not for Satele Shan showing up at the last minute to face the Sith Lords once more, only to find Darth Malgus was leading the charge. The stage was set for their grand rematch, and a ferocious rematch it was. Despite fighting her best, Satele's Ataru just wasn't enough for Malgus's Gem So, and he proved to be the superior duelist, slicing her saber staff in half and plunging his blade straight into her. However, Satele finally got to show off her real power with an impressive display of Terminus, blocking Malgus's lightsaber with her bare hands. One of the Republic troopers, named Jace Malcolm, made an opening for her, and she unleashed all of her Force energy in a Force attack that crushed Malgus into the side of a cliff, bringing the whole cliff down, crumbling on him. During his recovery, Malcolm and Satele would have a budding romance that turned into a full relationship, and with the help of her first Jedi Master, Nagani Zo, she decided to give up the child. Satele would also decide to break off and give off the relationship on the principles of the strict rules of attachment for the Jedi Order. She was worried about the relationship eventually leading her to the dark side, like her ancestor, Revan, a fact that she was incessantly reminded of by the Jedi Council. Not to mention, she was having growing concerns about her rival, Malgus, and that he may still be alive. She would soon be horrified to learn just how correct she was. After Satele won the Republic victory after victory, the war with the Sith Empire would suddenly come to a screeching halt, as in a surprise move, the Sith Empire sued for peace. As a show of good faith, they even withdrew their forces from a sect of systems, and proposed a treaty negotiation on the world of Alderaan. This of course was a trap, and the Jedi played right into the Sith's hands. Satele, along with several other masters and the Jedi Grandmaster of the time, went to have peace negotiations with the Sith Lord known as Darth Revan. The whole negotiation thing, though, was a farce, and right behind their backs, the Sith Empire launched a daring attack straight to Coruscant. The sacking of Coruscant as led by Darth Malgus would go down in both Republic history as well as Jedi history as one of the darkest moments for the galaxy, and for the Sith, it was one of the greatest military achievements of their entire order. On Alderaan, the Jedi would learn of this attack from a transmission from the Chancellor, who was slain right on screen. Satele would then lunge for Darth Revan and attack him, before being stopped by the Jedi Grandmaster at the time, who realized the predicament they were all now in. The Sith now held Coruscant, and with that, all of the cards. The Grandmaster forced Satele to actually apologize to Darth Revan for attacking him, and the Sith made the Jedi sign the peace treaty. With their hands now tied, the Jedi did as asked, and the Cold War between the Republic and the Sith Empire began. After the humiliating way that the war ceased, Satele went on a journey of her own in order to collect some allies, as she knew that the Cold War would only last for so long. The Sith were simply too ambitious. The Jedi Order retreated back to the world of Dantooine for a time. Believing that the Jedi Order had lost all hope, Satele Shan entered deep meditation, in which the Force rewarded her, doing so by not only showing her the way to her allies, but also revealing to her the previously lost hyperspace lane to the deep core world of Tython, the Jedi Order's original birthplace, which had been lost to time and space for several millennia. For this discovery, Satele was promoted to the rank of Master, as well as becoming a High Council member. However, not all was well, as the Jedi Order received word from the Senate that their temple would not be rebuilt on the world of Coruscant. So in light of this news and this new discovery, the Jedi Order decided to relocate back to their roots in the homeworld of Tython. A little more time passed, and Satele Shan would be voted into the place of Jedi Grandmaster. Very soon following, the Cold War would come to an end, as a previously trusted Sith Master defected from Darth Vitiate's empire, and would make Satele Shan aware of Darth Vitiate's plan to destroy all life in the galaxy. And with this information, Satele and the hero of Tython confronted the Sith Emperor on the world of Dromund Kaas. As Grandmaster Satele led the Battle of the Fleets, the hero of Tython destroyed the Sith Emperor, ending the tyranny of Vitiate for a time. Shortly afterwards, Revan would make his grand return, but of course the light side of him had died long ago, and his two halves had split during the years of torment. Only Darth Revan remained, and he had built a cult to himself that was simply called the Order of Revan. Darth Mar and the Sith struck an uneasy alliance with Satele and the Jedi Order in order to destroy their common enemy in the returned Revan, as he was attempting to bring back Vitiate so that he could get his final revenge. The Jedi and Sith forces broke the Order of Revan, leading directly to the man himself, and both Satele Shan and Mar dueled Darth Revan personally on Yavin 4, triumphing against her ancestor as the light side Revan spirit conjoined with the dark half once more, and Revan would finally be at peace, one with the Force. What the Jedi and Sith didn't know was that Vitiate had indeed survived anyway, and the resurrection wasn't even necessary, because now he was one of the ultimate powers in the universe, and had become Valkorion, leader of the Eternal Empire. Vitiate soon returned with an armada of ships made from an ancient alien technology known as the Eternal Fleet. In one fell swoop, the Eternal Empire scattered both the Jedi and Sith, and Satele decidedly went into exile after the destruction of the Jedi Order. However, Satele Shan would ultimately return, and with the help of her friends, they did manage to conquer Valkorion. This caused all of the spirits and all of those that he had wronged to suddenly rise up and avenge themselves, dragging the Emperor's spirit down into the void. Upon Satil's return, she would be once again met with her old rival, Malgus, who had been properly arrested by the Jedi and was put before her for judgment, face to face with her bitter rival. Finally, all things came full circle, and Satil passed judgment on Malgus, not killing him, but imprisoning him for the rest of his life. We aren't entirely sure when Satil Shan died, but by this time she had restored the Jedi Order back to their former glory, and they did end up relocating back to Coruscant at some point after the war. Satil Shan was truly one of the greatest Jedi Grandmasters to have ever filled the seat, and that is clearly displayed by all of her actions in and outside of wartime. Satil as a person was highly skilled in lightsaber combat, able to outmaneuver and take out several opponents on the battlefield at once. Though she wasn't a match for Darth Malgus, she still was capable of taking out several Sith acolytes at once and holding her own against the Sith Lord for a time, before ultimately becoming overwhelmed by him and his immense power in the Force. Satil in her own right though displayed incredible powers such as advanced forms of telekinesis, using ground-based attacks to dispatch several enemies at once. She could force crush the trunk of a massive tree whilst locking sabers with a powerful Sith. She also performed an advanced feat of Terminus by blocking a lightsaber blade with her bare hands, something only the most powerful of Jedi and Sith can match, and of course the ones of Mortis. Satil also hurled Malgus into the side of a cliff with a force push akin to what Yoda was able to do to Sidious, if not more massive in scale. She then used a force push so massive that there were visible ripples in the air that could be seen between her hands, which crushed the cliff entirely. All of this was accomplished when she was just a Jedi Knight. As a master, Satil grew in power massively. She showed incredible mental fortitude, able to not only resist the lure of the dark side, but also was able to resist the mental influences of Alcorian, and even expel him from her very mind by drawing heavily upon the Force and the spirits of those fallen. It could be stated that although Darth Malgus was perhaps the superior in blade-to-blade combat, Satil may have been his superior in the Force. Her mental capabilities even extended into the realm of battle, as she has been noted as being an adept strategist, much like her ancestor in Revan. She won battles hand over fist during both the Great Galactic War and the Cold War, as well as defeating the Sith fleet over Dromund Kaas, as well as destroying the Order of Revan. Despite her passionate stance against the Sith, Satil learned to become quite diplomatic, and by mastership, she was able to see past their differences and strike an alliance with the Sith in order to take down their common enemy. Despite this alliance, Satil always kept the nature of the Sith in mind and didn't allow the Jedi Order to be blindsided by another treachery. In fact, she was so forward-thinking that she gained the respect and ultimate allegiance of Darth Mar, who would seek counsel with her after his own death. His spirit worked with Satil once they realized that Valkorion had returned, and with his help, they were able to stop him. Well, my friends and acolytes, this was the life and times of Grandmaster Satil Shan. If you like this holocron and would like to see us cover more Jedi individually, please leave your comment down below of who you would like to see. Again though, what do you think of Grandmaster Satil? Is she a master that you knew much about before this video? And exactly how powerful do you think Grandmaster Satil Shan really was? As always, my friends, thank you so much for watching and continuing to support the channel. May the Force be with you, and have a great day.
Let me fall to my